All right, we are back. And first things first, all bands become unfinished. So no worries there. One of the mistakes I made is I didn't make a third Rancheria. That hurts, but I think I'm going to be able to now because I'm going to buy a lot more bands. So now we're going to create new bands. So population points is 1 plus the number of new bands already created in the same Rancheria. It would have been really nice to have some food in the other Rancheria, Rancheria B, and I don't. And the part that hurts is I can't do anything in Rancheria B to create a new band. So that was brutal. But the good news is Rancheria B is secure, right? So with Rancheria A though, I'm gonna spend a food, 2 of them in fact, for 4 points. So we're just gonna spend 1 food. Well, I wanna create 2 guys. So it's gonna cost me 1 plus 2 is 3. So I have to spend 3 food to get that. So here's the 2 food, and then here's 2 more with, so I'm gonna have 1 as change. I think I can do that. And get 2 new guys added to the mix. So I have 4. The idea here is one of them is gonna go to the other Rancheria. And then I'm going to be spending food to upgrade them. And every population point increases them by 1. So remember I had 1 left over, and then this is 2, 4, 6. I'm spending as much as I can. So 2, 4, 6 plus 1 is 7. So I'm spending 7 points of population to upgrade them. And this one will become a 3. So that's 1. And then this one will become a 3. That's 2 for a total of 3. And then this one will become a 2 for 4. And this one will become a 2 for 5. And I actually have food left over, don't I? So I have 1 food that just left over. There's no more 3s left. So that's as high as I can upgrade them. So what I could have done, I would have had to spend 3. So what would have been nice is if this food would have been over here, then I could have gotten another band for there, like a 1-6, which would have been really nice. So some mistakes were made. Okay. We may place a new Rancheria. Don't have a place to put one because none of my bands are out. So that was another mistake. We may retire a Mamma Mia with medicine greater than 1 to transfer his medicine to the Paraibo, and the Paraibo's medicine would equal his medicine. So unfortunate part is both Bob and Rob have the same medicine as the Paraibo, so retiring them doesn't help at all. So now we do a Headman death check. So we're gonna roll a die, and if the die roll is greater than or equal to their medicine, no effect. If it's less than their medicine, then they get set to the new value. So I have this card that says when determining the medicine rating of a new headman, I get to roll 2 dice and apply the highest roll. So if I did want to retire Bob or Rob, I'm rolling 2 dice to set their new value. That's not a bad deal, because right now I'm going to roll a die to see if they lose value. So this guy is very likely going to lose value, because what's the chances I'm going to roll a 5 or a 6 with him? Then I get to roll 2 dice to set his new value, and that gives me a better chance of getting back up to a 5 or a 6. That's an interesting strategy. It doesn't help my Paraibo in any way. But you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to retire this guy. It's crazy, I know, but that's what I'm going to do. So now I'm rolling a die for the first guy. He's at a 2 right now, and he doesn't move. Now the Paraiba, which is at a 2. Oh my gosh, he gets dropped to a 1. That's the Paraiba in Rancheria B. And then, now this is the Paraiba in Rancheria A, which is at a 5. See, and this is not bad. He gets dropped just 1 to 4. It could have been a lot worse. So the cool thing is now I'm going to get to roll 2 dice to set Bob. And, well, here, just for fun, if I would have rolled for Bob, I would have rolled, look at this, a 1. So he would have dropped from a 5 all the way down to a 1, and I would have been screwed, flipping the table, and quitting the game. So look at how brilliant genius I am. Now we're rolling 2 dice. And there it is. I rolled a 5, and he's right back to the value he had. Neener, neener. All right. So this card is not so bad. It's weird, but it's not so bad. Okay, let's keep going. Return all success counters from the out of play box. Yes. Okay, so all the success counters, no matter where they are, out of play, here, and there was even one over here. They all go back in the box and we are happy again. So the big lesson here is I can't raid on my first turn. I need to wait and let those success counters stay in the cup for a while. But getting ahead of myself, let's keep going. All resources are returned. Each tribe or settlement with a ravage token is removed. And so in this case, there are 2 of them removed. These 2. And that's a nice deal. So we just cleaned out Lower Arkansas a bit. The unfortunate part is we still don't have control of Upper Arkansas. And now that we're going to lose this card, this one's a problem child for us as well. We're actually closer to controlling Lower Arkansas than we are to controlling Upper Arkansas. But that was part of my plan, is let's just shift the tide a different way. So what I should have done is I really should have moved this to there whenever I had a chance during the planning phase. So if you don't mind, I'm going to do that. I know there's no information I know. Well, actually there is. I wasn't sure if these Ravage tokens were going to stay or if that one was going to stay. So technically speaking, I would have had to decide to move here knowing that all 3 could possibly be here. And my answer is fine. I am reneging a little bit and reversing a turn from a while ago, but that is better. Each tribe. Okay, so then we have to roll the die for every piece and ally counter. Well, there's only 1 piece, and as long as we don't get greater than a 3, we got a 6. So the piece goes away with yellow. It was never going to last anyways. And we're going to do the bison thing. Yeah. So that's a 3. Sorry, I was reading the sheet and I got to thinking. Okay, so 3 is completely full. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take a bison from a 3 space, and then we get to put it anywhere we want. And I'm going to go ahead and put it here in Upper Arkansas. Okay, so now we discard these, and there's no discard effect. And then we're going to draw 3 more. And we are going to purchase a culture card. Before I forget, we're getting the Lords of the Plains. So that does move our culture points to 0. But that's fine. I want this. So now we can spend 2 movement points. I was going to say magic points. While in the same space as a war column. And we get to automatically reduce our strength by 1. That is huge. And we're very lucky we haven't had a war column yet. but I've been trying to be very deliberate about ravaging people so one doesn't come out. And here's our 3 new cards. So let's see what happens. And then we do, just so you know, this is going to go back to start. And there's no number here yet, so we move up. We're going to have at least one more full cycle before we get to the point where a victory check might occur. So we're going to have at least one more passage of time is what I'm trying to say. All right, so here we go. First one, Great Hunt. Takes an AP. We can play from the hand, and it only costs 1 movement point to do a hunt action. It's okay. I'm not too thrilled with that one. At least it doesn't hurt us. Mild Winter, when revealed, conduct step 12 of the passage of time. So this is the thing. This is the one that puts the bison on the map. All right, so we rolled a 6. So that's the green area here, and it's full up. So I'm taking a bison from the Rio Grande, and I get to put it somewhere, so I'm going to put it in Lower Arkansas. Okay. And that doesn't actually do anything for us. It's just a when revealed thing. And then this last one, a Mounted Society. Don't have a gutter mine there. Okay, spend 1 AP, take in a hand. Play from hand to move up to all rancherias per step 7. So basically we could get a free move without having to do a planning step. If discarded during the passage of time, the passage of time counter moves 1 extra space. So this is another one of those punishment things that could cause the victory check to happen quicker. I don't think I mind it as long as we can guarantee victory, of course. We are done. So now we're moving on to the next round. Okay, still no war column, just the way we like it. Operation selection. I failed to get the extra rancheria out, which would have given us 3 culture points. That hurts, but I'm going to go ahead and just do 2 culture for now. I know I don't have any ravage points out. I get it, but the 2 culture thing, I do want to get going because I don't want to get stuck at 0 and cause myself to lose military points. So we're going to collect 2 culture. The only impact that has on us is, of course, this is moving down, and then they're not going to get a free instruction, but we are going to draw from the cup to see if they get. So we're going to see if they get any instruction action points. They do have 1 action point, which won't hurt us, but if they get more, obviously that will. And my logic here is this thing is full of a lot of successes, so this is our best time to do the culture step. So let's go ahead, and of course I draw the 4 APs, which hurts us. All right, let's roll. I rolled a 6, which is the south. The south is rising again. And I rolled another 6, which flips this over again. So the south goes, and they're going to spend 4 AP to settle. So we come over here, see what their settlement options are, and they do have some options. And what they would do is they would settle here. That's the closest one because it's only 2 spaces away. All right. Wasn't the worst thing in the world. Obviously, if we ever get this culture here, that's when it's going to hurt. Everything else is not so bad. So we move that down. And then this has, he's up to 2 action points now. So his turn is over. So it could have been worse, but we can handle that. Okay, so it's our turn again. No war columns. What do we want to do? Well, we can try to do culture again. That would only move us up to 4. Or we can start raiding and moving and all that stuff. So I think I want to start raiding and moving and all of that stuff. So we're gonna start with Rancheria A first. And you can see here we got 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. So I'm not gonna get any action points, which is fine. First thing I wanna do is I wanna take this guy. He's gonna spend 2 movement points to go out and back to the enemy settlement, and then have 3 points left. So we're gonna take 3 captives and a horse, right? And he's gonna trade those 3 captives for 3 food. And that's the whole turn. So we're not gonna show you everything. That was just his whole turn. Okay, so I happen to have 2 captives. So now I'm gonna take this guy with 5 movement points. And as you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's gonna take the food that's remaining plus these 2 captives. Is he gonna take the captives? No. We're gonna leave the captives here. He's gonna take 3 horses and the food. And then we're gonna go over to Rancheria B. And so he's gonna be finished there, like that. So we're basically just transporting some materials and horses over to Rancheria B. Okay, and then we have 2 guys left to do something with. They only have 4 movement points. And the part that hurts about that is the 4 movement points. Well, you know what? This one will do another trade. So we'll take a horse. And then these 2 captives will go back in. And we're going to get a food and a trade good. No. A horse. I can't get a trade. Yeah, it is. Oh, hold on. Yeah, I can get a trade good. So I'm going to do that. So that's what I get for the 2 captives. So he's done. And yeah, the last one's going to raid with Bob. And we're going to raid west here. Yeah, so. All right. So we're going to raid west. And as we noted, 2 movement points to go out and back, and we're going to get to do 2 raids. And Bob has a level 5, so he better be giving us extra draws. Actually, do I want to bring Bob? Yes, I do. Well, do I? This is a tough choice. So by bringing Bob, I'm going to be able to draw more tokens. And yes, I'll get more successes, but do I really want more successes? Because then that's just emptying the cup. Obviously, I can take more captives again. I sort of did this on purpose, so there's captives available for us to take, but I don't necessarily need them. And what I'm after are Ravage tokens. I'm not after... So... Tactics. That doesn't help me either. I need something that helps me put Ravage tokens on the board. I thought Warfare did that, but it's definitely not. Well, this one does, but it's weird. You have to do a success check. And yeah, that one lets you put a bonus Ravage counter. All right, I'm low on battery. Interesting. Okay, so I do want to raid. The question is am I raiding with Bob? That's the question. I mean, I could get a crap ton of successes. So then that would allow me to do a planning step. Do I want to do a planning step with Rancheria A? If I do a planning step with Rancheria A, it would get me bonuses on the medicine track. And then I get to do headman actions. But that's about it. Do I have to do the bob check? If I bring Bob, yes I do. Huh, why am I having so much issue with this? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna roll for Bob. So I rolled a 3, which means I get to add 1 extra token. So I'm gonna get to draw 4 tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, we know we got 1 success. You know what? I needed it. Look at that. I drew all these enemy APs. The hard part here is I'm putting Ravage tokens on, but then I'm giving the enemy all these APs, and he's just going to remove the tokens. That's the thing that's weird about this. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take a captive. And yeah, 1 more. So I rolled a 6 this time, so Bob didn't even help. All right, I get to draw 3. 1, 2, there's a success. Look at that, all those APs go into the enemy. And so yeah, I got another success, and I did 2 Ravage tokens, which is what I wanted to do, and I needed Bob. That's so funny. And the enemy's gonna get a buttload of action points. And then we have 1, 2, 3 finish, and I'm just checking. Roll a die for each Comancheria with finished bands. So I have to roll a die for both Comancherias. That's even crazier. Okay, but before I do that, this moves up to there. Let's roll for the first one. That's a 5, which means we needed a 3, right? So we survived that. And then this next one needs a 1, or we don't want a 1, so we're fine there. So no free actions for the enemy, but they have a crap ton here of actions they're gonna get to do. So let's roll and see who gets to do it. And I rolled a 4, so it is gonna be west. And then I rolled a 1, so their settle is changing to a subjugate. Okay, so the first thing they're gonna do is spend 3 enemy APs, and they're not going to subjugate. And you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna get rid of their Ravage token. This is actually really hard to eliminate an enemy settlement. And so then they're gonna spend 3 more to do another subjugate. And all that does is get rid of the other Ravage token. And then our worst nightmare is happening. They're gonna spend 4. Actually, we're gonna spend 2 plus 1 off camera. And they're going to war. So here a 3 band, plus the number of settlements they have, which is 3 more. Oh my gosh. So they're gonna get a 6. So a 6 strength army is coming out. And it's coming out on which location? Do I get to pick something far away? Oh, it goes on the square space. So that's easy enough. And it's going to be the cost of the war instruction, which was 3, plus the settlements in play, which is 3, plus any modifiers. And it can't exceed 8. So yes, a 6 strength unit is showing up in the square box here. And they get to keep going. So now they're going to settle, which they're not going to do. Instead, they're going to subjugate, because we went through all that logic, and this is the closest one, so they destroy that. And then they have 3 action points left. which is not enough for peace. And so this is going to shift up. And yes, all those Ravage tokens we just spent time putting on the board were for nothing. So in some ways, I need to make this like my last action that I do against them, and then hope to bloody hell we don't activate them. That's really hard. Okay, so the turn ends, and now it's our turn again. There is a warband, so we now have to do the war stuff. So we're going to start off with movement, and there you can see west is moving 1. So that is going to happen, and so they are going to move to here. All right, next. Bear with me, I'm just making sure I don't forget steps here. Okay. Sorry. So we did step 1. We drew the first card to move him. So now we're going to roll a die, and if it's less than the war column strength, it gets reduced by 1. Okay. Then after that, we're going to draw a card from the war deck that's going to do a when revealed, and it's going to basically impact the game. And then if they're in one of our spaces, there's a battle. And if they're in a rancheria, there's a bigger battle. Okay? So that's basically it. And this is the step I always forget. We have to roll a die. They're a 6 strength, so I'm pretty damn sure they're going to lose a strength. Because no matter what I roll, it's going down. So, except for a 6. So this 6 is becoming a 5. So they already got reduced by 1 just on their own, which is good. And then we're going to reveal a card. And it says, when revealed, draw another war card and check for movement only. Do not roll to reduce strength. So this hurts a little. And the west is moving 2 spaces. Oh no! Come on. Okay, so why am I so upset? Look at this. 1, 2, they're on the rancheria. We're having a battle. And they are at 5 strength for bloody sake. So the rancheria has even worse. They have 3 finished units. So they're not even at full strength. This is very, very bad, folks. Okay, so what we can do is we can spend 1 military point and battle them. Or we can lose 2 military points and lose all of our captives, and their war column strength gets reduced by 1. So we're only going to lose 1 captive. That's the good news. If we do a battle, here's the reason why I was upset with everybody on the battle part. If we do a battle, let me see if I can find... I can put Bob in the battle, which is going to give me a +1. But I'm going to get a -1 because all of our bands are finished. So that's going to be, they're going to cancel each other out. And remember, I need to roll a 6 or better to even damage them. Okay, so those are canceling each other out. I'm going to get +2. No, I'm not going to get +2. I'm going to get my band strength, which is a 3, right? So I'm going to roll my die and get to add 3 to it. And so you think, oh, well, that's not bad. You can get a 6 or more. But the token has a -2 on it. So I'm actually only getting a +1 to my die roll, net +1, right? So I'm going to get a +3 here and a +1 there for a +4, but then this reduces it down to +3, and then this reduces it down to +1. So I'm only going to get a net overall of 1. And so this is why I'm a little upset. And so what I'm going to do, I need to look in the instructions. I'm thinking of spending the 2 military points and giving up my 1 captive and make him lose 1 strength. But then what happens? Like, does he just stay in our space? And then we have to fight him again next turn? That's what I'm trying to understand. So it's it's worded very weird. So I'm going to let you read it, and maybe you guys can comment on what you think. Here's the issue. It says either 1 military point in fight, or 2 military points, lose all captives, war column strength -1. Okay, that makes sense. I don't have any problem with that. If it's 0, the war ends. Otherwise, place it on the square enemy space. That's the semicolon, okay? So that means otherwise, meaning if it's not 0, so he would go all the way back to the square. So basically, we would kick him all the way back to the square. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to spend the 2 military points, which hurts, and reduce him to a 4, which helps. And then I'm going to kick his butt all the way back to the square, which means that he has to move back up to attack us again. And he will, but we at least bought ourselves some more time. And then we lose our captive. So I'm going to get rid of my captive. That hurts, folks. I can't say I enjoy that. I now need to get more culture points, which I'm struggling to do because I don't have a lot of ranch areas and I don't have control over a region. But we're now finally done with this phase, and now we can actually go on with our actions. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to do more actions, and I wanted to raid this to get ravage tokens. I would like to get rid of that tribe. I would also like to get rid of the other tribe up there, but you can only do so many things at once. And so the problem is this particular Paraibo is only going to allow me to activate 1 guy. So, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do an activation, and I'm going to activate the Rancheria B, which means these guys are still going to remain in this state. And so let's go ahead and do that. So the first thing that happens is all the bands are going to be unfinished. So this one's going to be unfinished, and all these horses are there, and so is the food, which is good. And the problem is only 1 guy is going to be able to activate, because you can see here he's next to Paraibo, who only has a strength of 1. So I'm going to go ahead and raid the northern tribe, because if I can get rid of this last tribe, we do take control of Lower Arkansas, which will then make us satisfy the victory condition. And so I'm going to take Bob with me, and a horse, and let's see what we can do. Obviously, 2 points to go out and back, so we're going to get to do 2 raids. So Bob only has a value of 2. So if I roll a 2, he gets a +1. If I roll a 1, we get a +2. And of course, nothing happens. And so I'm going to get to draw 3 just because we have a 3 strength unit. So there's 1, 2, and 3. There's a success, success, and 4 action points. So with the 2 successes, I will take the captives. Oh, and then we're going to roll again for the next raid. I rolled a 3. Ravage counter comes out. So I'm going to get to draw 3 more. And we get a success, success, and 4 enemy action points. So 2 more successes, and I'll take 2 more captives. So the guy did fairly well. I got all these captives and nowhere really to trade them if this goes away, but... And then he's in a finished state. Okay, so we did all that, and now we have to move our counter. So that was our last. We have 1 more action that's guaranteed. And now we're going to check to see if they get free actions. So we're going to do the one that is 3 or less. Got a 5, so we're okay there. And now we're going to do the one that's 1 or less. Another 5. So no free actions for them. No soup for you. Checking. So a second ravage counter comes out for the north here. So here's what I ended up doing. We got 2 ravage counters on this guy, and all the resources are released, and we now have some captives and whatnot. And okay, so now we got to do the enemy draw, and they got 2 more APs. Not a surprise. A lot of the success tokens are now missing. So the thing that hurts so bad is I want to do more actions. I am going to get to do 1 more. So here's the thing. I got a lot of success markers in 2 places, so I can get a nice, if I do a planning phase, I can get some nice bonuses to my medicine, right? So that's one thing I would like to do. And also in the planning phase, I can spend action points and maybe take some of these cards, which don't particularly help me too much, but they might help me a little. I don't have to use the cards right away. I can just save them for later in the game when they would help me. The problem is the other thing I need to do is I still need to raise my culture. So that's always a perk. Also, the planning stage lets me spend culture to raise my military points. So again, I need to do a planning step. But then the last thing I want to do is I want to create a 3rd Rancheria, so that way when I do the culture step, I get more culture. And in order to do that, I need to activate this guy. And so I'm just getting stuck. So let's see what enemy activates, and then we can figure out how bad our situation is. So it's a 5, it's the west enemy. Big surprise there. And I'm gonna roll again, and I rolled a 1, and this hurts because this was a piece, and now it's turning into culture. Oh my gosh. There's no ravage tokens on them. Let me check something real quick. I have an idea, but I have to check something. Okay. Trade goods can be used to re-roll 1 die. Yes, I'm doing that. So I'm going to spend our trade good that we have, and this is as good of a time as any to re-roll a die, and this time it's a 2. So instead of the culture coming out, this piece goes away and becomes war, and I'm okay with that. That culture would have been awful. And here's why. We would have lost 1, 2, 3 culture. Actually 4. We would have lost 4 culture. We only have 2. That would have been game over. We would have lost the game. Okay, so now they're spending 4 APs for peace. And the peace is really cool because now the peace marker is going to come out and we can say, okay, we're going to go to peace with, does it have to be the closest one? When an active enemy squares space. So it goes on a square space. All right, hold on. If the active enemy has a war column if that war column is already in the same space as Rancheria, terminate this procedure. Otherwise, compare its strength with the strength of the peace instruction. If the war column strength is less than the peace cost, war ends. Place the peace instruction on the inactive enemy instruction display. If the war column is greater than the peace instruction, perform steps 3.1, 1 and 2. Treat peace instruction as having been resolved and place the inactive column. So what's 3.1 steps 1 and 2? Oh my gosh, the war would activate. Okay, so well, the peace is 4, okay? So the 4 is equal to the 4 on the war. So the war ends, okay? So what happens is this war band, or war column, goes away, and then the peace goes here, and then the war also ends. So that was actually fairly cool, except for the next part. So now we're going to spend 6 enemy APs to spend 5 for another war. Okay, so this war is a 5, and then he has 1, 2, 3 settlements, so it becomes an 8. So it's like the highest strength warband possible. I don't even know. Yeah, here it is. So he has an 8, which does a -4 to our die rolls. So now that guy is sitting there, and we're at war again. So we went to peace, and now we're at war again. And then this settle action is 4, and they actually have 4 APs off the camera. So they are also going to settle. And the settlement is going to put yet another one out. And this time here. West is just killing us. We're getting slaughtered by them. Well, they have one more place they can put a settlement. That's right there, and they only have one more settlement token. So yeah, so now this is coming back onto the chart, like so. And yeah, their turn is officially over, and we are officially cooked. All right, so we get our final action here. Well, it may be our final. We don't know. My battery is going dead. I was hoping to at least get to the planning phase. So I'm going to plug in. And my camera doesn't reach as far with it being plugged in. So bear with me, but I'm going to plug in so you don't get cut off here. And okay, so we're going to do the war column thing. So as you can see, as you know, they have an 8 strength war column now. And so the next card that comes out, oh my gosh, West 2. All right, well, it's not going to our Rancheria yet, but it is moving 2 spaces, and it's 1 space away from our Rancheria. And remember, we're supposed to roll a die to reduce it. Well, I can tell you that on a 6-sided die, we're always going to be lower than 8. So that 8 is reduced to a 7. The reason I was upset that it moved 2 is it gets reduced even if they don't move at all, right? So if they would have just not moved, we would have had more turns to reduce this thing. So I'm a little concerned about that. And then we flip this over, and it's a countermeasure action. After a band possessing one or more captives is marked as finished in a war space, spend all captives possessed by this band when then the war ends. War column in space, only one war ends, player's choice. Well, that's quite awesome. So we could actually go and raid their space and then make the war end. Now, here's the question. Can we raid their space while a warband is standing in it? That is a good question. Target space must be an enemy space or a peace space. We can raid them even though they're standing in that space. And then we can end our turn there, right? And not return back home. And if we mark as finished in a war space, then we can give back our captives that we capture, and the war will end. So we'll get rid of their 7 strength unit for doing that. And we'll put ravage tokens on their thing. That's pretty slick. Now the other option is, and we spent a lot of time getting it, is I can go there and spend 2 movement points to reduce their strength by 1, but they're at strength 7, folks. It's going to take a lot of movement points to do that. I can actually activate all 3 of my guys here and like basically spend all of them to reduce movement points. That's pretty crazy, but we could do it. Anyways, we're done with the war column phase. So now it's our turn. So this is where we got to decide. Are we going to plan or are we going to activate? And I think I have to activate because I want to get another Rancheria up so our culture action can be more powerful. So, and I also don't want all these guys to be unfinished. So, although I think they're going to be unfinished. So let's do this. And we got a 3, a 2, and a 3. All right, so, okay, how do I want to do this? I'm going to send the 2 with 2 horses and a food. And we're gonna go, and I apologize because this is all the closer I can get. We're gonna go into this Red River section, except we're gonna go way up close to where our Rancheria is. So we're gonna start a Rancheria in a 3rd space. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'm moving, and I'm capturing a bison, actually. So I'll have a food and a bison there. So that's my first thing. So we're gonna start a 3rd Rancheria. Next thing, we're gonna take Bob with this 3 strength unit, and we're going to attack that settlement and see if we can get some captives and end the war. So that's one thing we're gonna do. And then this one is not gonna do anything. I'm not even gonna collect action points because if I do, I have to mark him as finished. He's staying here because if we have to defend our area, I need a full strength unit to do that. Now, should I do that? That's the next question. Maybe I should use him to raid as well so we can get as many ravage points on this sucker as possible. You know what? I don't have to decide yet. I'm supposed to just activate them one at a time. So let's do this raid first, and then we can go from there. So I'm going to just put this guy here. And Bob is a 5 strength, so we're going to roll. Of course I would do that. So now I'm going to draw 3. 1, 2, 3, and that was awful. We don't even get a success. All right, so now we're gonna try again. Rolling for Bob, we get 1 bonus. I'm gonna get to draw 4. And 1, 2, 3, 4. So we drew a crap ton of enemy action points. So it means they're gonna heal everything. But we did get our 1 success, and that's gonna allow us to get the captives and We did get to put one ravage on him. But here's the thing. I have to finish my turn on that space, right? I do. So I have 4 movement points. I'm not spending 2 movement points to go out and back. I'm just spending 1 movement point to go out. So I just raided twice. So that's 3 movement points. I'm going to raid again. So let's go. So there's a 1. So now I'm going to draw 5 tokens. And at this point, I don't care how many enemy APs I'm drawing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I did succeed 2 more times. So I get to put another Ravage token out. Not that it's going to matter. And yes, they're getting a buttload of enemy action points. And this is where I get doomed. I think I really screw that up. So let's see, I had a captive. I'm going to capture 2 more horses because that's all I can take. And so I'm going to end my turn on that space, so he'll be finished. And then this captive is going to go back, and we're going to destroy their warband. So the war will end. So that part's good. I'm going to have to spend action points to activate that guy in the future, but we at least ended the war. So this thing comes back, and this big Mega 7 is gone. So we saved our Rancheria. All right. Okay. Now we have all kinds of problems, but let's... so what do we do with this final guy? Well, let's look in our cup. We only have 4 tokens in our cup, and 1 of them is success. So if I raid, I'm for sure going to get that success, but then I'm going to add a whole bunch of action points. So I'm not going to raid. That's silly. Now that the war has ended, this guy is free to do an action without me being worried. So I could try to raid like a northern tribe, right? To get some more Ravage tokens out. That might actually be a good idea. But then I'm going to be giving them a lot more action points. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. What else can I do? I can trade. I have nothing to trade. So what else can I do? I can hunt. I don't have enough movement points to hunt because I only have 4. It would cost me 3 just to hunt. Yeah, well, you know what I'll do? I'll just collect the action point. So we're now up to 4 action points. So at some point when I need to use action points, I can. Okay, I would really like to get some planning in. So we're going to roll now, and if it's a 3 or less, then passage of time is coming. I want 1 more turn. So let's see what happens. I rolled a 1, so passage of time is coming. That hurts. Okay. So we got to finish the rest of this turn. So first step in finishing this turn is, let's see if they get a freebie. So we have 1 finished guy in each Rancheria. So we're going to roll twice, and if I roll a 1 on either one, then they get a freebie. They don't. So we're good there. Now we're going to draw, and they're probably going to get more action points. There's only 1 success in this entire thing, and they're going to get 4 more action points. And so whoever gets to go is going to get to basically do every action in their arsenal. So now we're going to roll and see who that's going to be. And it is going to be West. So West is definitely going to heal themselves. But the good news is we're going to hit our victory condition because that means North is not. So first things first is they're going to try to subjugate, which will heal 1 token. Then they're going to subjugate again, which is going to heal another token. So both of their Ravage tokens are now healed. And then they're going to keep going. So now they want to settle for 4. there's nowhere for them to settle, so they're going to subjugate instead. So I know you can't see it, but it's going to be along the Rio Grande. This tribe is destroyed. Then they're going to do war for 3. So we're going to grab a 3. And the good news is a war column of 3 is not very strong. However, they have 1, 2, 3, 4 settlements. So it is going to be a 7 strength war column. So it sucks, is what I'm trying to say. And I may want to move my Rancheria away from them, but I wanted to destroy that settlement. It's so hard. Okay, now what's interesting is now we're going to spend 4 AP for peace. And so this peace is going to cancel the war because the war was only 3. But the thing is their war column is 7 strength. So so what's going to happen is the peace is going to do nothing. And if I understand this correctly, it's actually going to make them get to move. So if the war column strength is greater than or equal to the piece's AP cost, perform 3.1 steps 1 and 2. Treat the peace instruction as having been resolved and put it in the inactive column. So 3.1 steps 1 and 2 is we discard the card from the war event box, and then we're actually moving. We're actually doing the move step, and then we're rolling a die to see if they get reduced. So let's do that. It's going away. Let's do a move step, and they are moving 1 space. And because they're strength 7, we know they're going to be reduced. So they're going to move 1 space, and they're getting reduced to a 6. So this goes away, and the 6 comes out. That hurts. My dog's having bad dreams. All right, so then we're going to do a 5. So I'm going to spend 8 and then put a 3 back. And then now a war is happening. So what happens when they get a war when they already have a war? So let's find out. If the active enemy already has a war column, if that war column is already in the same space as the Rancheria, terminate this procedure. Otherwise, do steps 1 and 2 for the war column. So once again, we're going to draw a card and see if they move, and then they're going to get reduced by 1. And they will get reduced by 1. No, we are going to have to roll, because if we roll a 6, they won't get reduced by 1. So you can see they're not moving, and as long as I don't roll a 6, they will get reduced by 1. And I rolled a 3. So they do get reduced by 1, so now they're going to be at 5 strength. And then, of course, the chances of reducing them this way is going to reduce. It's going to get lower and lower. All right, so now they've executed all their actions, and they have 3, 5, 7, 9. Oh, what happens if they have extra action points? I think they actually get to store it all. This is ridiculous. Oh boy, this would be 6.3. I know we looked this up before in the last playthrough, and I apologize because we did figure this out, but I forgot the answer. I think they get just to keep it all. Increase the enemy APs on the general records track by the value of all AP counters remaining. Then return them all to the, yeah, so their AP track is going up to 9. Oh my gosh. So even if we do nothing next turn, they're still going to get to do 9 action points worth of stuff. Yeah. So there's a war. It's going to happen again, and there's a peace. All right, well, okay, I guess, so the turn's over, and we go to the war column thing, because we actually do a full round. So the war column thing is happening again. So now we're going to do that step 1 and 2 thing. They're not moving. Good news. Okay, so then we're rolling a die for them, and if it's a 1 through a 4, they get reduced again. And of course we roll 5. So now they're not moving. This happens. When revealed, spend 2 APs to move 1 Rancheria to an adjacent space. Must comply with stacking. So that's an interesting idea. So we could move our Rancheria away from the settlement, which will make that war column have to move further to get to us. But it means that when we're raiding the settlement, we have 1 less movement point. I'm at a point now where I think I want to raid that settlement with 1 strength units with a lot of movement points. That way we can just get a lot of ravage tokens out. And I'm not as concerned about success tokens. I'm not going to move. That's not worth spending 2 action points on. I'm going to hold. And so with that being done, we're done with that. So now we have to do the progression of time thing. So let's do that, and then I'm going to call it a night. And I know I'm at an hour, but we'll go ahead and finish this. And I'm having trouble concentrating. I'm tired. So let's do passage of time. All right, so mark all in-play bands as unfinished. So all the bands are getting marked unfinished. And I know you can't see them all, but these 2, there's one that's off board, because remember we had to force that warband to go to peace. So everything's marked as unfinished. So now here's where I get to create the new bands if I spend food. So it costs 1 point to get a new band. And so I'm going to spend 1 captive here and get a 1-6 for this Rancheria. And this one, I'm going to spend, let's see, 1 for the first one, and then it would be 2 for the second one, so that's 3. And if I want a third one, that's 3 more. So I'm going to spend 6 food to get 3 1-6s. Okay? All right. So now I can spend food and whatnot to increase their strength. So looking at this one here, I can spend another captive and change this 1.6 to a 2-5, like so. Obviously here I don't have any food points left, so, and that's fine. I'm not too concerned about that. I do have one that's off map. He's a 2-5, but we don't have any 3s left, so there's nothing to really do. Now I can place a new Rancheria. So Rancheria C is going to come out in that Red River place that I was talking about. And I can zoom in and show you. So it's going to be, so our Rancheria A is up here and C is actually right next to it. They're going to be right next to each other. And there's a dashed line in between. Oh, you know what? Give me a second. This Palo Duro Canyon. Can I move a Rancheria there? I think I can, but then I lose northern Arkansas. So give me a second. I might be able to move my Rancheria to Palo Duro Canyon. Then they won't be attacking me. In fact, the yellow war columns have to like march 100 miles just to get to me. Oh, come on. I know it's here somewhere. It belongs to no territory and has no area value. So I think we can go into the Palo Duro Canyon. It's just that from a culture perspective, it doesn't give us any culture. We're basically just hiding from so our rancheria is protected, meaning that they can't get us, but then it doesn't do us any good. So yeah, I'm gonna just stay where I am. Okay, so I placed my new rancheria in C. So then all of this shows up in the C spot. We have a 2-5, we have 2 horses. He has 2 food and a bison. So he should have plenty of stuff. And then the Paraibo and the Medicine Man are going to, I think they're at the same strength as the unit. So let's just check. Yep, that's equal. And no, this guy is going to be a 0. So the Paraibo is going to be a strength 2. So we may voluntarily retire a Rob or a Bob or a Kabob with medicine greater than 1 in order to transfer his medicine value to the Paraibo. So if you look at B here, I'm going to retire Rob to move him up to a 2. Okay, so 2 of them got retired. And then I'm actually going to retire Bob to a 0 to move him up to a 5. And so now I have to do the Headman death check. And this is the part that hurts. So I just moved them up. But okay, so the first one, I rolled a 4. He's fine. Second one, I rolled a 6. He's fine. I really need a 6 with this one. I need a really high number with this one. And I rolled a 1. So he drops all the bloody down. That is awful. Okay, so now we got to roll for each Bob and Rob and Kabob and set their value. So all 3 of them are at 0. So we're going to roll 2 dice because that's my special ability. So this is on Ranch C. And I'm going to take the 6. So he's all the way up to 6. And the next one, oh, I'm sorry, it's not 6, it's 3. 3, because you have to cut it in half. So I think I did that last one wrong. And then this one is a 3 cut in half, so he's just a 1. Ooh, that's awful. Very awful. Okay. We're going to return all the success counters, which there's a lot of, and I didn't get to use them. That's why I wanted one more turn. Every tribe with ravaged is removed. So we did take control of Lower Arkansas. And so the ravage counters are removed from Lower Arkansas. And we have full control of that region. And we have a ranch in 3 regions. And then we have control of one of those 3 regions. So our culture action is going to get us 4 culture. And I think we're finally going to start cranking and getting some stuff going here. Okay, so with that done, there's no peace or allies on the map. We're going to do the bison check. So I rolled a 6. I'm looking. Area 6 does have an empty space, so a bison's going to go out there. Done. And all the development cards go away. One of these development cards is causing the passage of time to go up by 1 right now. So we're going to do that. And I'm going to unplug for a second so you can see. And the passage of time is going up to 3, which means that a victory check might happen now. And we're okay because we actually have the victory check met. So we're going to draw. Here's what's interesting. We can purchase a culture card. We have to draw the new development cards and do whatever they say. And then we check for the victory check. That's interesting. Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. So we're going to have to draw these development cards, and they may impact us in some way. So let's draw 1, 2, 3. Let's hope they don't change. Here's one where we can spend an AP. As long as this card is in the player's hand, the player may risk losing this card in order to gain bonus movement points. When activating a band, the player use get up to 6 bonus MPs. After the band has finished, roll a die. If the die roll number is less than the number of bonus MP used, discard the card. Okay, so I can take up to 6, and it's basically a gamble. I can take up to 6 extra MPs, and for every one that I take extra, I roll a die, and as long as I roll, if I can roll more than whatever I took, I get to keep the card. So if I only took like 1 bonus MP, and I roll a 2 through a 6, I get to keep the card. If I take all 6 bonus MPs, it doesn't matter what I roll, I'm losing the card, but I got 6 MPs. Okay, that's actually not bad. That's worth spending an action point for. Spend an action point, play from hand to cancel 1 die roll or success check, draw. Reroll the die or return the success check counter to the cup and redraw. That's not bad. This is basically the same thing as a trade good. And if I don't do this, then the passage of time advances twice. And then this last one, while in play, west square enemy is treated as a peace space for trade purposes, and we can't conduct raid or warpath in a west square enemy space. So basically, I can't raid them at all. Okay, fair enough. Now, I can purchase a culture card. I happen to have 2 culture points right now, and I don't think there's any card I want to purchase that's that awesome. Maybe spirituality level 2. Nope. I'm okay. I want to hold on to my culture right now. I want to build it up a bit. And so now it says place the operations marker in the start space. So let's do that. This is going back up to start. Then it says if passage of time is in a numbered space, roll a die. And it is. So the passage of time was here, which means that we would have normally just went to here and then started another whole round. But because of that development card, it moved up to here, and now we're doing a die check. So the development card accelerated this a bit. And I rolled a 6, which means that we don't do a victory check. So it moves up now to the 4, and now we're going to do another round. Okay, so I am going to stop here, and we'll resume when I come back. And that means that these cards are in play, and this one is going to mean that we can no longer raid the West. What I'm interested in is it's peace space for trade purposes. West Square enemy space. I can still raid the settlements. I just can't. Well, hold on. An enemy space is a settlement. Yeah, I can't raid anything. So I can only trade with them, so they're at war with me. They're sending war columns to destroy me, but I can't do anything to them. That's really weird. But okay, I'll worry about that some other time. That guy has been a pain in the butt. The Spain in the West. So we definitely don't like Spain. I want to start my turn with I want to start my turn with a culture action. I know they have 9 action points, though. They're going to get to do. So even if I do a culture action, they have 9 action points. So it's going to hurt. But I do want to do it. And you know what? Let's do one more, just one turn. And then I'm quitting. So I want to see what happens. So we got to start with the war column. And let's draw, and they are moving 1 space. And unfortunately, they're moving into my space. Because remember, I have a band here. So they just moved into my band, and there is going to be a battle between us. I don't lose any military points for this battle. And the one strange thing about this is I'm not finished. I'm in an unfinished state, so that means I don't get the penalty. So that happens. However, we're still checking to see if they get reduced by 1. So let's do that. And I rolled a 3, so they do get reduced by 1. So they're going to be reduced down to a 4 before we do this battle, which helps a little. And we're going to reveal the next card before we do this battle. So when revealed, it's a fast-moving column. Draw another war card and check for movement only. All right, so let's do that. He's not going to move because he's already in a space with us. So he's not going to move. I'm just making sure. Yeah, he does not move. So he's going to fight our band. Okay, so, and there's nothing we can do about this. We have to do the fight. So we got a 4 strength unit. It's going to give us a -2 to our die roll against us, who's a 3 strength unit. And we have horses, but we don't have, I should have bought that horse card for 1 culture, huh? That would have been very handy here. So we have to do a battle. And the battle is, it goes back and forth until somebody's eliminated. There is no retreat. There is no surrender. And we're going to be reducing each other over and over until, and it's going to suck because we're going to get to a point where we can't even, doesn't matter what we roll, it's not going to hurt them. And here you can see he's giving us a -2 modifier. So how do we win? We got to get a 6 after modification. If I roll a 1, I lose no matter what. I think if I roll a 6, I win no matter what. Yes, if I roll a 6, I win no matter what. So there is some hope. Okay, so the first thing is our band strength is 3. So we're going to get to add 3 to our die roll. And then we're going to get to add 1 more because we have Bob with us. Okay, so we're going to get to add 4 to our die roll. But then they're going to subtract 2. So we get to add 2 to our die roll. It's still pretty good. It means a 4, 5, or 6 wins for us. That is 50% odds. I wish I had better odds, but that's the issue. And if we could win this first roll, this gets reduced to a 3, and you can see there the modifier down becomes a -1. So our odds get a lot better. So this first roll means everything, and these dice have not been good to us this entire game. So that is not good. So we get reduced to a 2-5. And now we roll again, but this time we need an even higher number. We need a 5 or a 6 to win. Oh my gosh, I got the 6. So we did that, and now he's reduced. So now because we were reduced, we're back to 4, 5, and 6. So let's roll. And of course I get a 3. So now we're reduced to a 1. And I rolled a 1, which fails no matter what. So we are eliminated. The band's gone. And I don't know what happens to Bob. Hold on. Oh, the Bob's medicine, every time we won, his medicine went up by 1. We only won 1 time. The war does not end, and Bob dies. So he goes back, but Bob goes down to 0, and we lose all the horses we had. And yes, we are still at war, and he's still moving towards the Rancheria. Dick. All right. So, yeah, these war columns suck. All right. Now, why did I want to take this turn? I wanted to do a culture action. And so that's what I'll do now. So yes, I was all excited. We're going to get 4 culture, so let's do that. Our culture is going up 1, 2, 3, 4. We're up to 6. So if I ever did a planning step, I can spend culture points to move our military up. But now we're going to lose a military point as soon as that guy goes into our space, which could be as early as next turn. Okay, so now with that said, they need to, we're going to draw and see if they get to do their action points, is what I'm trying to say. And they're going to get 3 more. Jeez. Okay, so we're going to draw, it's a 1, so the north is activating and not the south, which is interesting. And then, yeah, they got 9. Oh, we got to roll again. It's a 3, 1, 2, 3. So this flips over like so. And here we go. So this 3 goes away. And they're going to raid. So that means a column, a war column's coming out. And so let's make sure we check. It's a raid. Place the raid instruction into the same space as a randomly chosen non-allied tribe nearest to a rancheria. Okay, we have one that's just 1 space away from a rancheria, so he's going to get a 3 strength raid because it's 3, and it's going to go right next to Rancheria C, which is in trouble. So we may end up getting 2 rancherias attacked next turn. Oh, we're in so much trouble. All right, so now it keeps going. So next is Hunt for 3. So he's down to 6. And Hunt, I think, is just, they're going to randomly determine a territory and remove a bison. All right, so let's roll. I rolled a 5. 5 is which region? 5 is this region, and then there's multiple bison here, so we remove it from the lowest one, so number 1. So that bison's been eaten, and we keep going, and now we have an ally for 5, and that reduces them down to 1 action point, and ally is going to happen. So this is an interesting one. Place the ally instruction on a non-allied tribe. If there are no non-allied tribes in play, execute an encroach instruction. So the ally does not remove the raid. That's fine. So I'm going to put this ally on the one that's right next to us. And that's it. So yeah, I'm going to end for now. Have a good night, everybody. As always, stay awesome. And thank you. And I have a feeling I might be losing soon. But we do have a lot of culture points, so that helps. And we might lose Rancheria C. These war columns are still causing me issues, even when I thought I had a solution. It's a tough game. It's a very tough game. I'm very interested to see what the win percentage is for some of you who play this. Like, do you win like half the time, more than half, or less than half? That would be my curiosity. I'm willing to bet that those of you that have played this game a lot and have gotten pretty decent at it, maybe it's half the time. I mean, have you really been able to get it to more than half? That would be very interesting. Yeah, this is supposedly the easy era. It said it was easy. I mean, I guess it is easy. I mean, I've met the victory condition for 3 turns or 3 rounds now, but the part that's not easy is the war columns just devastating me. Anyways, I got to stop and get to bed here. So thanks for watching. Stay awesome.